for the Israeli regime is almost universal. You'll find a few silly people in Iran who support Israel, or the regime, but overwhelmingly, almost 100% of Iranians despise Israel. After what they've done in the last 2 years, even the more naive and liberal Iranians, their views have shifted. And then when the attack occurred at a time when Iran was negotiating indirectly with the United States, I think that was sort of the last straw. Iranians recognized that you cannot trust the United States at all, and nothing that the United States does the government can be taken seriously. So that deep skepticism continues. And when the United States, of course, steals tankers, and when it allows the Israelis to continue bombing Lebanon and Gaza, and when people see the ethnic cleansing in the West Bank continue, and when they see the U.S. supporting ISIS and Al Qaeda in Syria, that skepticism is strengthened and entrenched. Now, what the leader says is not at all in contradiction with what the foreign minister says, and this is a problem that the United States has. They like to think that what the foreign minister says is a sign of Iranian weakness. They'd like to interpret it that way, but they've been calculating on Iran for decades now. Iran, both for the sake of the international community and for the sake of its own people, wants everyone, both inside and outside Iran, to recognize that we're not the problem, that we have no problems with having good relations with any country, except for the Israeli regime, which we don't consider to be legitimate since it's ethno-supremacist and it's a colonial regime that's carried out ethnic cleansing. Just like with apartheid South Africa, we did not recognize it. So Iran is always prepared to have decent relations with the United States, and that is where the leader comes in. He says that, and the foreign ministry says, and other Iranian officials say that the United States under this current regime, under these circumstances, with this worldview, where it can just steal tankers from countries, where it can just bomb people in fishing boats, or where it can just threaten country after country, whether it's Nigeria or South Africa. This is not a regime that we can deal with. But if the United States, hypothetically, changed its mentality, respected other countries, was trustworthy in implementing its agreements, then that could change. Just like Iran has good relations with Brazil, Iran has good relations with China, it has good relations with South Africa, it has good relations with almost all countries across the world, except for those that are under the thumb of the United States. So there's no contradiction. It is the duty of the foreign ministry to say that we're open for talks, but there are conditions, and those conditions at the moment do not exist. And I think that any attempt to, in the United States or among their assets, to create to show Iran is divided is based upon a lack of knowledge or an intentional attempt to create this feeling among countries across the global south, so that they would think, wow, if you stand up to the United States, ultimately you have to submit. If you stand up for your rights, ultimately you'll have to submit. Look, the Iranians want to submit, and that sort of thing. But no, that's not true. That's the foreign ministry is in. They are not carrying out any policy that contravenes Iran's national interests and the beliefs of the leadership.